when does actually days on market start counting?
So whenever you make a listing active in the MLS, it's going to look at the list date. So if today is day one and you've got the list date of today, then the list date the days on market will start off as 0 or 1. Okay? Now keep in mind, if the list date was 10 days ago, once you make it active, it's going to show 10 days on market. It's looking very directly at the list date.
Okay, that makes sense. And then CDOM?
CDOM, it stands for Cumulative Days on Market. Anytime a listing is put into the MLS under a new MLS number, it's going to look back and it's going to find listings that have the same address, same parcel ID number, and it's going to connect them. And if it's been within the last 30 days, it's going to connect that listing to the new listing. So if the previous listing had been, or if it's been listed several times, it's going to connect all those days on market together to create a cumulative days on market.
Okay, so for my clarification then, so if I had a property cancel, I'm putting it back on the market, I should put it back on the market on the 31st day.
Yeah, it needs to be a 31-day break, and it needs to be 31 days, not 30.
31
days.
Okay.
It's very important.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
When would I use TOM?
The TOM status is temporarily off the market, and it's just that. It should be a temporary status. And you would use it for situations like right now, the weather's been bad, there's been some flooding, and so sometimes sellers will want that corrected before they have, potential buyers come in through the house. And so they'll want to take it off the market temporarily for a few days while they get the water remediated. And then you can go back into Matrix and make it active again. And the days on market in the TOM status are suspended.
Suspended.
So if the listing had been on the market for 5 days, went to TOM status for 10, when you put it back on the market, that is day 6.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Coming soon. I'm very confused.
Okay, so coming soon, related back to days on market, when any listing that's in the coming soon status does not accumulate days on market.
Okay.
Not until it goes active, and that's day 1.
How many days can I have a property that's coming soon in MLS?
14 days,
14
and then
days.
if you don't do anything with it, it will turn to a temporarily off the market status. Again, neither of those two statuses accumulate days on market.
Okay. So for my clarification, if I don't go in and put it to active, it automatically goes to TOM.
Correct.
And it stays in TOM until I do something with it.
That's correct.
So I have an idea of what active is. Is there something I should more know about what active means?
Active means that the seller and the listing agent are ready to start actively marketing the property. Active listings typically are made available to all MLS subscribers. They're typically sent out to all the major portals, and so it's ready to be shown and accept offers.
Okay, so then the other one I have confusion with is active contingent or CON.
Okay, so active contingent means that there actually has been a contract accepted. Okay, contingent means that the contract is contingent, but they want to continue to make it available for showings. Okay. So that's a very important distinction. Okay. So that it's available for showing.
So my clarification, so when I have a property and it goes under contract during the inspection period, it would be active contingents or CON.
Well, it could, or the active option.
Or active option.
Yes, if they exercise the option period, then it would be active option.
So active option is OPT.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So does it matter which one I use, or do I have to go with what my office says, or?
I think it's probably best to use, if they exercise the option period, it's best to use the option period until it expires. Once it expires, then you need to decide, is it active contingent or is it pending?
Okay.
Pending means they don't want any backup offers and they don't want to show it anymore.
Okay. So during the option period, it's best for me to put an active option contract.
Okay.
We satisfy that time frame, then we can go active contingent for maybe appraisals or financing.
Correct, but it needs to be able to continue to show and take back offers.
Continue to show, okay,
yes.
Makes sense, okay. And then I've seen this KO Kickout, I have no clue what that means.
Okay, well that's a fun one, okay. So you can still have an option period,
okay,
but then the contract that the seller accepted could be contingent on the sale of another property by the buyer, okay? So in that backup contract, there's a kickout clause, that's why they call it kickout, that says that the seller wants to accept another offer, and so they're asking the buyer to resolve their issue, or it's going to get kicked out and the next contract is going to be picked up. So that's the active kickout. You don't see very many of those, but that's active kickout.
And the other one, I think I understand, but maybe a little further explanation on what does pending mean and when do I put a property pending?
Pending means that the seller has told you, I do not want my property shown any further, and I am good with this contract. I don't want any more offers. That's pending. It's an off-market status.
So when my client tells me that.
Yes, that's it. All of these are these are seller decisions.
Okay. So those are all questions I should ask.
Yes.
During the listing agreement.
Yes, but I will say that regardless of what your seller instructs you, your duty is to disclose that there's been a contract accepted.
Okay.
By using one of those statuses.
Okay. And then how do I cancel the property if for whatever reason the seller wants to cancel the listing?
Okay.
What would I do?
So if you and the seller part ways, you go to your broker.
Okay.
Or an office administrator who has authority. You should have a listing termination signed by your seller, and then your broker or your office administration has an access level to cancel listings.
Okay. So, and then withdrawn. So if I need to stop the listing for a while for whatever reason, would I use withdrawn?
Actually, no, because actually withdrawn is another type of termination. So
okay.
you and the seller have parted ways. However, you're putting in some protection periods, or you're naming people that if they sell to any of those people or within a certain time period, then they still owe the listing broker a commission. Okay, so you'd use withdrawn in that situation, so they wouldn't be free to go list with another broker.
Is that commonly used?
Not very much.
Not very much.
No.
Okay, but that would all depend on the listing agreement again.
The termination.
Termination
of the listing agreement.
Okay, awesome. When I see expired, I'm assuming that means the listing agreement I had expired?
Yes, it came to its natural end based on the listing agreement.
Okay.
Yes.
And then when do I go in and change a listing I have to sold? I was confused of when that is. Is it once we go pending? Is it after they moved in? When does that date change?
Once you go to closing.
Closing.
And it's funded. Because we've seen situations where everybody signs on the dotted line at closing, but the funding falls through for whatever reason after you sign all the closing documents.
Okay.
So we recommend that you wait until it's funded.
Okay.
And
So
then close it.
Closed
and
and
change it to
funded.
sold.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, can I do that? What happens if we close at 5 o'clock on Friday night?
No, you can wait till Monday. You've got
Wait till
72 hours.
Oh, I have 72
Yes,
hours.
yes.
Is there any other time windows that I have to be aware of
72 hours for everything.
for everything?
Everything. Yes.
Well, that's
Yes.
a good thing to know.
Yes, it's just straight across the board.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time. That clears up a lot of stuff.
Well,
Thank
good.
you very much.